Hiya, Facebook and YouTube. Hiya, Instagram. How we doing? Tuesday. New moon, we love it. Yay. Okay, today we are talking about your personal power, the power behind your personal style. Okay, this is a hot topic right now because I am currently offering my energetic styling package, which is one of my favorite services ever. People love it. It's amazing, etc. The reason it's so good is because it takes a really simple but very weighted subject of clothes, and it turns it into, hi Israel, it turns it into a tool, a metaphor for what's going on in your life, a tool of understanding, and then also a tool for change. It's really cool. A lot of people are benefiting from this right now, and it's also just a really interesting time to talk about it, as a lot of us are emerging from a really tough couple of years and finding that we maybe don't quite have the oomph that we used to have. We're exhausted. There's been a lot that's happened. We just need a little bit more pep in our step. We're all craving that so much. So we want to find ways of getting back or refinding or even finding for the first time our personal power. Now, this is a concept. Hi, Armandy. This is a really, how do I want to say it? Personal power is kind of a bit of a vague term. Let's be clear. What we mean by personal power is confidence. That little like je ne sais quoi that happens when you felt it with people, when you're just like, oh my gosh, I want what they're having. I want what they're selling. It's like the orgasm scene in When Harry Met Sally. Like I've never watched it, but I want what she's having. That is personal power. It's the resilience to keep going when business is tough, when you're in launch mode, when you are in growth mode, when you are in getting letters from your company in the UK, like which just happened to me this morning, when business can feel tough, okay? And so your personal power is the thing that allows you to keep going. Think of it as like the motor of the engine, or sorry, the engine of the car. Okay, that's what we mean by personal power. We can like slice it and dice it in a million different ways, but ultimately, all the reason we care so much about personal power or empowerment or power, however you talk about it, is because it is the engine. It allows us to actually do the things that we want to do through resilience, through the oomph to keep going, and through the absolute beautiful delusion that we all have as business owners that this idea in our head is $1 million idea. And I say delusional with so much affection, because I think we need to have that, because everyone will tell you when you run a business, this isn't going to work. Everyone will tell you X, Y, and Z, all the reasons why this isn't going to happen. That's not the way it's done. This doesn't get to happen, blah, 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 blah. And we just get to be like, no, we're good. We believe it will happen. That's your personal power. That's why it matters so much. Yeah? Oomph, drive, and just like sheer wonderful delusion that this is going to work, because we need that. Okay. So that's why personal power matters. Now, what does your personal power have to do with your personal style? And this is not any of this old stuff that you've probably been told about. Like, I still remember my dad talking about how he would, when he was going to pitch companies, he would dress in the colors of the companies. Like, great psychological hack. But, we kind of thought, like, when we think about dressing in terms of personal power, we think of like the power suit, we think of like power poses, we think of that color hack that my dad talked about. We think about these kind of sneaky ways that are very transactional based, that are very much based on this idea that power is somehow about winning something, or about like, I have more power than you, and therefore this equation works out. It's very old school. It's very, I guess, bro marketing. It's very just not the way I choose to do business. In all honesty. And the people then who do business with me and whose business I seek out are the same. So it's not that. Instead, it's about the coming back to self, to make yourself unstoppable. And again, this can be like a little bit of a woollier phrase, but think about it. Think about when you feel in charge in your life and in your business, when you are like, I'm doing this, I'm unstoppable, this is going to work. That's what we're talking about. That's coming back into yourself. That's softening back into yourself. That's trusting yourself. That, to me, is tapping into your vibrancy and operating from that perspective. That's what we're after. Yeah? It's not a winning game. It's it's not a like, who gets to the table first gets to eat. It's like, everyone gets to come to the table approach, which takes a lot of wisdom, takes a lot of emotional intelligence. It takes a lot to do business in this way, but it is way more fun, way more enjoyable. And ultimately, I think way more profitable, because it allows you to stay in your business for considerably longer. And like, I come from the business, I come from the VC and startup world. I come from this, my headband is doing something funny. Talk about personal power, right? Anyway, I want to give you 3 explorations of why, and then these are 3 things that you can go and explore yourself. Okay. Obviously, like, I am so happy. Like, I have so much value to offer. Like, I love to give it away in these sessions. Like, you can go take anything I'm saying right now and go and apply it to your real life without spending $1 on me, very happily. I will say, though, that the evolution and the results that you're desiring happen way more quickly, and it's just significantly more fun if you do it in a paid container with me. Right now, that paid container is energetic styling. It is selling like hotcakes. I think we only have like 4 spots left. Early bird just ended yesterday, but come on in. All those details are in the link in my bio on Instagram, and for Facebook and YouTube. They are within your ecosystem right here. So that is a really amazing. Hi, Patricia. It's a really amazing service that I'm super, super in love with. So I want to talk to you about the 3 things now. And like I said, go take these things, play with them. Like, please, I want you to. Okay. Now, the reason your personal power is, or your personal style is behind your personal power, or whatever way I listed them, one of the key things is clothing is a really powerful way to start feeling safer in your system. And what I mean by this is, one of the things I've seen over and over again, and by this point, I've now worked with thousands of entrepreneurs in various guises in my life, okay? And what I see over and over again, and this never made any sense to me, and I was always like reading about it and like studying and like talking to other entrepreneurs about it, and I was like, what is happening? And it's when people just basically do weird stuff. People do weird stuff all the time. They don't respond to emails, they back out of deals, they start to go just bizarre in communications. They start to get offended by people. Like, people would just do really odd stuff that was so out of character for them. And I'm talking about entrepreneurs that I worked for, entrepreneurs who worked for me, entrepreneurs who I consulted with, entrepreneurs who I coached with, entrepreneurs who I'm friends with, and me just doing really weird stuff. And it wasn't until I entered the coaching world and got some language around this that I realized this is all nervous system based. And so often we are activated without realizing it, because our nervous system is always on, paying attention, listening. And when we are in that activated state, either in fight or flight, when we go up, from the nervous system, or in freeze or fawn, when we go down in the nervous system, we're not in our rational brain. So all of these lovely plans and strategies that we make count for nothing when we're in one of these activated states. And I honestly, a lot of us are in these activated states pretty much consistently. I know I was. And the reason for that is multitudes, but it is stressful AF to be a woman in the patriarchy running a business. It is stressful AF to run a business. It is stressful AF to exist in this world. It is stressful AF to be a child in this world. Like all of this stuff, we carry around so much of this, and it often, unless we really deal with it, makes our nervous system go haywire. So we start doing really odd stuff. And that is all around helping us feel safer and safe enough to not do weird stuff. And so I know this sounds bizarre, but clothes are such a powerful tool to make ourselves feel safe enough. Now, the way that I do it is we play with identities, we play with kind of things that we're trying to project and stuff. This is with my clients. And we basically allow people play with putting themselves out there a little bit. And what I mean by this is earrings or a ring or a color or something that seems so small, but we go little by little, and then we let that feel safe. And what this is doing, this is a metaphor for trying new things. And what happens is our brain then normalizes it, and our nervous system doesn't go into haywire. Our nervous system is like, oh, we don't die when we wear color, or oh, we don't get attacked if we wear earrings, or oh, it's okay if somebody looks at me if I'm wearing a short skirt. Like, I know what to do with that. And we're constantly making that feel safe enough so that your system starts to understand that it can breed its own safety, which comes down the nervous system, which means you do less weird stuff. And the stuff around nervous system, and this is a lot of what I do with clients, is it's repeat. And what do we do every single day? We drink water. Hopefully you drink water every day. If not, we need to have a conversation. This is a gallon kind of gal over here. We get dressed. And so it's a really cool mechanism in order to feel safe so that you can actually deliver on your personal power rather than get caught up in the nervous system, which happens to so many of us. Okay? So that's number one. And like an exercise you can do is literally just do that. Put on something that stretches you a little bit and then tell yourself you're safe. Make yourself feel like safe enough. And like, if that sounds too big a concept, DM me and we'll break this down. But it's literally like, okay, oh, I'm putting on a headband. I feel safe. And like soothe yourself. Like touch is such a powerful thing. Just like words of affirmation, breathing, drinking water. Like if you start to get panicky, stop. Like it gets to feel good, honestly. And that can be really powerful. And I know it sounds so small, but these are the things that way more quickly than you expect add up. Okay. Number two is, and this is one of my favorites, I'm not going to lie, is, hi Liz, is that we can release our excess baggage. And this is a big thing that we do in energetic styling. Like we get rid of some clothes. We get rid of, the majority of people who come into energetic styling are wearing, I would say between 20 to 40% of their wardrobe. Like I take a baseline when they come in, and so that's a lot of stuff that's just sitting around. And a lot of the stuff we're holding onto because we feel we should, because we paid money for it, and like it would be bad to like pay. I know, Liz, I'm so excited to do energetic styling with you. Yay. So soon. I love it. I'm so excited. Like so many people signed up for energetic styling over the weekend. So I get to welcome in all these new incredible humans, and including Liz, and I'm so excited. Anyway, It allows you to release stuff, and it's a really cool, I have a whole other framework for releasing things that we're done with, but one of the most powerful ways is to do it in energetic style, where we're literally getting rid of stuff, and we look into it in a soft and like really fun way of like what you're still holding on to, what you don't want to let go of, and why. And then this becomes a metaphor for other parts of your life, because we're all holding on to stuff we don't need, like old ideas, old patterns, old behaviors, old stories, and it's fascinating when you're like, okay, why don't you want to get rid of that skirt? And people are like, well, I paid money for it, like I shouldn't let it go. Like, okay, is that your voice? Is that somebody else's voice? Oh, okay. And we start to explore and unpack, and it's a really cool way of letting things go. Now, why releasing things matter so much for your business is, and life in general, is we're just carrying too much gunk with us. I literally think of it as we have all these like old Hessian sacks on top of us, and it's getting harder and harder and harder to move. Okay. And it's just like not good. And so we want to release to create so that we can have the space to express our personal power. If we're always like putting more and more stuff on, it's like being in a house that you can't even move around in because there's so much stuff in it. Imagine what it feels like when you clear out the junk, release some stuff. You have so much more space to explore and play, and capacity to deliver. We're always in business, so often it's about like, how do we work on releasing? How do we work on receiving? More than anything, that is what it comes down to. And we practice that with energetic styling. We practice that by letting things go. So you can play with that right now. Again, as I always say, yes, if you're in a container with me, it's going to be way quicker, way more fun, and it's going to make tons and tons of sense, but you can go do this work right now. But think about when you want to clear out your closet, like how do you actually let things go? Where do you get stuck? What happens? Why do you think you get stuck? And get really curious about this. And again, just practice it. Practice releasing stuff. And then seeing how you can apply that to other parts of your life and business. But your personal power needs space, and we need to release and let go of things in order to create that space. Now, number 3 is, maybe this is my favorite. Everything's my favorite. I literally have, everyone's my best friend and everything's my favorite. Like, whatever. This is who I am. Like, I'm just gonna own it. But number 3 is celebration of self. And here is the game changer. Like, all of the stuff I've been talking about allows you to do really well. Like, I don't believe in like working to zero. Like, I don't believe in just like working to neutral. I believe that we get to pull the levers of life, pull the levers of business so that we can elevate ourselves. That's what we want to do. You mean if you want to work to neutral, like that's fantastic. Good for you. I'm not making it wrong. Like, I just maybe am not the coach for you, because like I just don't believe in that as a guiding principle for myself and for my clients. But anyway, celebration of self. Here's the actual chart, and here's where you get quantum leaps. And this is why it's so exciting to do energetic styling. And this is why people literally skyrocket after they do something like this. Like, it is celebration of self in its purest, most beautiful forms. And that is not something we're encouraged to do in society. That is not something we're encouraged to be, especially if you're a socialized woman or hold any form of marginalized identity. Like, you're not taught to celebrate yourself. Like, think how much shame, and I'm British, so I get it. Like, think about how much shame we have about bragging about ourselves, or don't get too big for your boots, or pride comes before a fall, etc. And what I have seen consistently is when people celebrate their self, their beautiful parts, their parts that frustrate them, the parts that are a little ridiculous, that are actually their superpowers. Like, when people start really celebrating all parts of themselves, big things happen. you want to show up more. You are less rebuffed when people say no, because that's a natural part of business. Like, newsflash, you have to get no's. Like, it's fine, no big deal. But celebration of self is when the real genius starts to happen, when you're not just, you know, saying the same old stuff that everybody else is saying, but really like putting your mark on it, putting your personality behind it, allowing people to fall in love with you. That is when things really move for people. And that's why after doing energetic signing, people are like, have 6-figure launches, they have 5-figure launches, they actually launch something, which is a huge thing, and don't hate it. They double their prices, they add to team, they let clients go, which is a huge one for energetic drainage. Like, they do incredible stuff, they move across the country. And even on a more subtle level, they just decide, like, all right, no more like F's given. We're doing this. That is celebration of self. And the way that we do it in energetic styling is like, we celebrate your style. Because what a great representation of who you are, how you want to express yourself to the world. And I don't care if it's like oatmeal sweaters or sequins or yoga outfits or gend bodysuits or going nude. I think the whole world would be better if we could just all get our boobs out all the time. But whatever it is, it gets to be celebrated. And like, style and how we express ourselves is so heavily policed. Hi, Mary. It's so heavily policed, especially on female and femme bodies, or anybody with a marginalized gender expression or identity. Like, it's so heavily policed that we forget that we get to just like to wear what we like. Smokey the Bear t-shirt today. Yes, and I bet it looks fab because Mary will wear it with all her flash, because that's Mary. And Mary has such a fun style because it's a celebration of self. So for YouTube and Facebook, Mary's on Instagram right now. That's why you're like, who's she talking about? Anyway, but we are not trained to celebrate ourselves. And so we have to reclaim it in a way that feels safe, number one. And number two, in a way that we have released the stories around it so we don't get so hung up about it. And that's when the magic really happens. And so a lot of the time when people are like looking at energetic styling, they're like, well, I need to find my style first and then I can do it because Ellie's so stylish. And it's like, I'm really not. I just have a lot of fun with my clothes. I literally just put on stuff that makes me smile more than anything. Or just like pleases my soul in a certain way. But the whole point is to celebrate that style. And like, it's really hard because we're not taught to embrace and love our style. We're taught we should dress to be flattered, to be appropriate, to be chic and be in good taste. And we just get to throw that all out the window and instead be like, what do I like? How do I want to feel? How does my life actually work? And then we get to build that style from there and celebrate it. And this is the best metaphor and practice I've ever found to be like, this is who I am, world, come get it. And that attitude is the magnetism that I keep talking about. Yeah, good with gold hoops. Everything's good with gold hoops. I'm not going to lie. I do have a bias towards gold hoops. Sorry, not sorry. You may not, and that's wonderful. So why your personal power matters is it is the oomph. It is the engine of the car. It is the thing that keeps you going when things are tough, when running your business or the universe is like really like crapping all over you. Whatever is happening, your personal power is your oomph. Now it's your resilience too. It is your motivation. It's your why. It's like all the reasons that you need to keep going. That's your personal power. We can break it down in so many different ways, but like that's why it matters. Like, you know that difference when you are in your power and when you're not. And I very rarely get binary about stuff, but like it is a very clear distinction. And when we make decisions and take action and make choices from our personal power, very different from when we're out of that personal power. And so if you're seeing like people who are blowing up, like if you're in the coaching industry or the service industry or whatever your business is in, we are wearing Catholic uniforms, but I always found my power in how just, yeah, totally, Mary. That is because they're making decisions from their personal power, not from their disempowered scarcity place that we're actually kind of is really the norm. And so if we're making decisions from that place, like don't beat yourself up. Like congratulations, you're human and you're responding to very human messages. But we get to elevate that and make decisions from our personal power. One of the best ways I found to do that is to embrace and find your personal style. Because one, it helps you feel safe. It's a great practice for feeling safer in your body, so your nervous system doesn't do wonky things. Number two, it is a great metaphor for releasing your baggage, so that you actually have capacity and space to do the things that you want to do. And number three, it's one of the most beautiful celebrations of self that really is the game changer in business and life. When you are celebrating all parts of yourself and not trying to minimize the things that you don't think are as desirable, or slim down your thighs by wearing black bootcut jeans, which are now in fashion, so I get it. But you see what I mean? Do you see what I'm offering up? Now, as always, take this, run with it, whatever I've said, play with it. If you want to do this work, if you want to be like, you know what, I'm ready to be in my personal power because I'm ready to stop making decisions from this disempowered place, let's do energetic signing together. It's like the best service for this. It's 3 sessions over 2 weeks with a whole month of messaging support. It's me and your brain. It's bespoke exercises. It's targeted exercises of 10 minutes or less a day to really get you going. It is magic. Right now, it is it's full price. The early bird ended yesterday, but I would get in here. If you even have an iota of, oh, this could feel so good, come on and get in. Okay, for Facebook and YouTube, all my links are here, and for Instagram, DM me if you fancy it. Okay, I'm going to go for now because I chatted for way longer than I thought I was going to. So I got to go. All right. I'll see you, Facebook and YouTube later.